are you today? So good to see you today. Thanks for joining me. So this past weekend was a beautiful spring day and I got to go out on a hike, which was awesome. It was the first hike of the season. My family and I went, my brother came, my husband and my son, and I was so looking forward to being out in nature and just going for the walk. And of course, as my mind always does on these hikes, it just kind of wanders into business. And I started thinking about client journey and I started thinking about your clients. Yes, I was thinking about your clients. And I started wondering what kind of journey are you putting your clients on when they come to work with you? So on this path, we had the map. We had the map on our phones. We knew the direction we were going. We knew it was a little less than a 3 mile hike. So we kind of knew what to expect. We knew because there was a terrain map, we kind of knew that there were some hills and the markers all said hills and inclines and rocks and a little bit rocky trail. So we were good with that. We were ready for it. We were kind of looking forward to that, just kind of make it a little interesting. So as we were walking down the trail, and all of a sudden we came up to kind of a little soft, muddy spot. Now it's been raining here for the last couple of weeks, and so I guess it wasn't a surprise, but I guess I wasn't expecting it. This was kind of a hilly trail, so I really wasn't expecting a lot of mud, but just a little area in the path. So we just kind of were able to step around it, kind of get over on rocks or just kind of go past it. No big deal. Didn't think much about it. Just kind of sailed right through. We kept hiking, kept going, and then we came across an area that, like, the whole path was soggy and just so wet and muddy, and we could have walked through it, but we would have come out very dirty. So to get around this, we actually had to go into the woods to circumvent this muddy spot. And again, not the biggest deal, but I like to try to stay on the trail when I can. And so there were some times when we had to actually get pretty far into the woods to get away from the really sloppy areas. Okay, so a little more inconvenient, but not completely terrible. We kept walking, and there were times when my son was getting crabby because it was taking so long, and there were times when we were going uphill, we were all breathing hard, and we just kept doing the trail, kept going forward because what else could we do other than turn back? And at one point that became longer to go back than to keep going. So we kept going, and then we came upon a part in the trail where there was a big creek running through the trail. A creek wide enough that you couldn't just take a big step over it. This was truly impassable. Like you couldn't without wading into probably up to your ankles at least in water. You weren't going to get across. Now somebody or nature had put a log across, but it was one log, didn't look the most sturdy. My son got across just fine. The rest of the adults were a little more cautious about getting on that log to try to cross. And so we're all kind of looking around trying to figure out how are we going to get from where we are to where we want to be. And the three adults all kind of had a different perspective and kind of did a different thing. My husband went one way and kind of went way out of the way through the woods and found an area that was a little bit still slick and still wide, the creek was, but he was able to kind of get across. It was still took him a while to kind of navigate that. I just kind of made it work to get across the log, and my brother brilliantly went down the way a little bit, went down the creek a little bit, and found another log that was almost as long as the first log that was already in the trail. Now he worked hard to get that log over to the trail and put it in the creek right next to the other log. So it actually made a nice little bridge. So we actually came to a spot in our trail that the creek made the trail impassable. And so to get across, we had to make our own bridge. And God bless him, he did that not only for us and for him to get across, but he did it for anybody that came behind us, because now it was going to be a much safer, much more comfortable hike across the creek. but we had to make our own bridge. So that's where my brain started going, why, how is this like the client journey that we might be putting our clients on? Are there times when our clients are working with us from just a prospect standpoint to actually starting to work with us to ending their work with us? Do they find some of those kind of soggy spots that just by stepping on a couple rocks they can get through and don't think much of? Have they come across some spots in the client journey where they really have to go around and circumvent that awkward, inconvenient, not so easy path? Are there places where it's so difficult for them to keep going on the journey with you that they have to make their own bridge, or maybe just turn back and give up? So let's think about that for our client journey. That's why this is so important. Now, for a hike, I know we kind of knew what we were getting ourselves into, but for our clients, are we giving them a nice smooth path, or are we giving them a rocky path? Now, by smooth, I don't necessarily mean that it's easy. If you're helping them transform from one place to another, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it can be simple and it can be smooth. You can think through everything that they need from the moment that they start working with you to the moment that they stop working with you, and anticipate what they need and help them get there. What if, now this is way out there because Parks Department's not going to do this, and I wouldn't expect them to on a real trail, but what if somebody had marked ahead of time, there are some really muddy spots, wear yucky shoes? Because my son didn't. He wore his school shoes, and I warned him, I know, but like even a warning like that. Or what if somebody had made some sort of bridge over the really muddy spots so we didn't have to go into the woods? Or what if somebody had already put a bridge over the creek so that when we got there, all we had to do was cross the bridge? We wouldn't even recognized that there could have been a problem. That's the kind of journey we want to put our clients on. So thinking through all of those aspects of what your clients need, how can you make that journey smooth? Now, thinking through your client journey can actually be a really big task because there's a lot of detail that can go into it. But it's also, by thinking this through, it also creates less stress for you because you've thought it out, you've made an intentional plan, and now you can have systems around that plan. You can have other people help you with that plan. So it actually creates less stress for you by doing that thoughtful process. You can make your client experience predictable and powerful and exciting for your clients. And that client journey that has been well thought out and all the issues taken care of can actually turn your clients into raving fans because they will feel so well cared for, so nurtured, that they are going to talk about you to everybody that they come in contact with. So it not only gives them a better experience, but it makes them want to talk about it. And it makes your life a heck of a lot easier because now you're getting referrals, but you also have a smooth path that you can lead people through. You've already thought about where to put the bridges and where to put the stepping stones. You've already thought all that through. So if you are interested in thinking this through, this idea of the client journey, I've got two things for you. For the next several weeks, I'm going to actually break the client journey down into little bits, and I'll be sharing it and teaching it on this Facebook Live every Thursday for the next probably 4 or 5 weeks. So make sure you join me. Thursday mornings, 9 a.m. Central Time is when I go live. Come join me and learn about the client journey and how to create your own client journey. I also have a worksheet, kind of a template that you can use to help think this through. If you're interested in that, put a comment in the comments below and I will DM it to you. So if you are interested in that free worksheet / template, make sure you put it in the comments below and I will DM that PDF to you. All right, friends, and don't forget to join me next Thursday where we will keep talking about the client journey and how to think it through. We're going to start with understanding the stages that your clients are going through. So I can't wait because this is a fun topic for me and I can't wait to share it with you. So I look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Bye.